Would you like to 10x your productivity and stop feeling so overworked and overwhelmed? Welcome to the Extreme Productivity Podcast with New York Times bestselling author and Inc. 500 entrepreneur, Kevin Kruse.
Welcome to another episode of the Extreme Productivity Podcast. I, of course, am Kevin Kruse. I think this is episode 31, which means if you joined us late, go on back and binge listen. These are pretty short episodes. Most are around 10 minutes, 12 minutes. You've got a lot of great training, a lot of great lessons you could catch up on. And, I've been thinking a lot about this show after doing, 30-something weekly episodes. And I think I'm going to start experimenting with things. I'm going to go, you could probably tell, these are fairly scripted. They follow work I've done in, my articles or books, etc. But I might just start doing some of these shows less scripted, more off the cuff, answering your questions, things like that. So stay tuned. In the last episode, we talked about the power of a daily MIT. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about elephants. But first, listen, I am recording this right now in a dark, cold, lonely basement. I'm not making that up. Let me know you're out there. You can do that by going to facebook.com/Kruse author and just like my page. I post all kinds of good reminders on productivity, success, leadership on a daily basis. I do some behind the scenes stuff. It's a place for you to post comments and questions. And hey, if you're on Instagram, and who's not on Instagram these days? I hear they've got 500 million monthly active users. It's crazy. Just open up Instagram and search on Kevin Author and give me a follow, or go to Snapchat. Yeah, you heard it. I am now snapping. I don't even know what that means, but yes, I'm on Snapchat. Search for Kevin Author and add me there as well. So, do you have trouble saying no? You ever look at your calendar for the day and why in the world did I agree to that meeting, to that project? How did I get roped into this? That's usually what I say when I'm in the middle of some committee or event. I don't do well with team stuff. I'm like, why did I volunteer for this? The more responsibilities we gain in life, it sure feels like the shorter the days and months and years get. There just isn't enough time to get everything done anymore. But the requests keep coming. In fact, they're multiplying. As we get older, as we get more successful, more and more requests come our way. Now, we can't say yes to everything, and yet we say yes to so many things. We really struggle with saying no, with turning people down. Now, there's many reasons for this. Why don't we say no? We're afraid to make people mad at us. We're afraid to hurt someone's feelings. We want to be liked. Come on, we want to be liked. We don't want to be rude. We were raised as a little kid. Don't be rude. Be polite to people. That means yes, be agreeable. We underestimate how much time things will take. Sure, you asked me to serve on that committee. You say it's just 30 minutes a month. Yeah, right. How many times have I fallen for that one? Or we're just not clear on our own priorities. If we don't know what else we should be doing, if we don't have passion around a goal, well then sure, why not? Let me just give away my money, my time, to anybody who asks for it. So we're definitely raised and socialized to help others. It's okay to value helping others, but before you say yes, we need to pause. We need to remember the 1440 rule, only 1,440 minutes in a day. And this is the key. I'm getting back to the elephants. The future will be just as busy as the present, if not more, and small things, when they arrive, will actually be much bigger. Here's the thing. This phrase, beware of distant elephants. I love this phrase, beware of distant elephants, because they say in a distance, even giant elephants, at first they look small, But when that event arrives, when that date arrives, when that elephant arrives, that small things turns into something huge. Now, here's a true story. I'm just sharing it. I'm not trying to make it like all about me, but this is just true. And this is how this happens, quite frequently to me. I get an email from a young woman, undergraduate at a college, Dickinson. It was actually not far from where I live. And I don't know, it's like a 2-hour drive or something. She emails me out of the blue, says, hey, she's a fan of my leadership work. Her school does an annual speaker series. And she says, is it okay if she suggests me to them as a speaker? Sure, why not? Well, that was my first yes. A month later, an administrator from the college emailed and said, hey, here's a specific date and time. We would like you to come and speak, but we got to let you know, we can't pay you. There's not going to be a fee. Would I consider it? Now, look, my speaking fee, depending on where it is and what's going on, is anywhere from $12,000 to $30,000 for a keynote. But it's not about the money. I love speaking to students. I do it as often as I can. I never charge for those things. I try to do one pro bono speech to a nonprofit each month anyway. So I look at my calendar. It's 3 months down the road, and that date is free. In fact, boy, that whole week was free. Whoa, look at that. The future is going to be a lot less busy than I am right now, or so I think. So yeah, I accepted the invitation. That was my second official yes. The date starts to get closer. Weeks are ticking away. Another student reaches out and says, hey, I know you're coming in for this thing. I run the radio station. Can you come in, a couple hours earlier so I can interview on the radio show? Sure. So that takes up a little bit more time on that day. Then a professor says, hey, I know you're coming to give this speech. Do you mind hanging around? And then you can come talk to my economics class about, business and ethics. Sure. Love to speak to your students. As we get closer and closer, not only does the yes get bigger, what it's going from a 1-hour speech to, these interviews, and it's going to take up the whole day. That's fine. But also inevitably, my other things come up that weren't on that calendar. My daughter's school play got scheduled for the very same day, and I ended up, I'm missing my daughter's school play. I was asked to do a corporate keynote event for my full fee. Well, I had to turn that down because I had already accepted the free college event. So that was a lot of, money out of my pocket. Oddly, very same day, a new television news program in Australia wanted to live interview me about some article I wrote about, smartphones, not checking your smartphone in a meeting. And they were going to do a satellite interview with me out of Philadelphia. But I couldn't go because I would be driving in my car early now to go to a full day's worth of events at Dickinson. So, I don't regret my original decision. I'm not saying it was wrong. But, it was certainly a bummer that I missed out on that fee and on this TV interview. And most importantly, my kids' school play. So I share this story. It's kind of an extreme story. That doesn't happen to me every time, but how we mistakenly think we'll be less busy in the future than we are in the present. It's easy to say yes to that lunch date when you look at your calendar 3 weeks from now and there's nothing going on during that day. Yeah, sure, I'll meet you for lunch. You got to realize any obligations and projects you have going on now, they're going to be there in a month, 6 months, or a year. I mean, if you're still employed, you're still going to have all kinds of those things a year from now. Your kids are still going to get sick and need to get picked up from school. Your kids are still going to be playing sports or have other activities and parent-teacher conferences. Your boss will still dump projects on you at the last minute. My car just got a flat tire this weekend. It's the 4th flat tire I have had in a year. Normally, I would think I'm just cursed. I think it has something to do with the horrible roads in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I don't know. But look, unless you're dead, your car's going to break down. It's going to need an inspection. Friends will be throwing parties. Your empty calendar will not be empty when that day arrives. So the point is not that, just say no to everything and you can never have any fun or never say yes to people. It's just to be mindful about it. Don't be so quick to say yes just because the calendar looks empty. Don't be so quick to say yes because that project, that ask seems so small. Remember, distant projects that are small now tend to grow in size when they finally arrive. Beware of distant elephants. Okay, one last thing. I don't think I've even ever mentioned this after 30 episodes. If you like this podcast, you may be interested to know that I have an e-learning course on extreme productivity. It's called Master Your Minutes. It's, I think, 5 video modules where, I come on screen and I teach you, I walk you through a deep dive of, really, it's my E3C system, energy, capture, calendar, and concentrate. If you want to check it out, just go to kevinkruse.com. Again, it's Kevin, Kruse.com, and click the little e-learning menu tab, and you're going to be able to see the Master Your Minutes course up there. So until next week, remember, master your minutes to master your life.